Hello, good evening, and thanks for watching Times News. I'm Chisomo Chihana. First, the headlines. President Lazarus Chakwera says the legacy of the late President of Tanzania, John Magufuli, will live on across Africa. An additional batch of over 1.2 million dosages of COVID-19 AstraZeneca is expected to arrive in the country by end of May. And at least 41 students risk losing their places at University of Malawi's College of Medicine as they cannot afford to pay tuition fees. We have these and other stories. Stay with us. In our first story, President Lazarus Chakwera said the legacy of former President of the Republic of Tanzania, John Pombe Magufuli, will live on across Africa after his death. Chakwera was speaking in Dodoma, Tanzania during the late Magufuli's memorial service. Chakwera said Magufuli's leadership style will remain a reference point for all the African leaders who share his vision for the continent. Chakwera said Magufuli inspired the African continent to rise and achieve what was previously considered impossible.
166 days ago, President John Pombe Magufuli and I had dinner together at the state residence in Dar es Salaam. But I did not know that it would be our last supper. The following day, he saw me off the apron of Julius Nyerere International Airport. But I did not know that it would be our last goodbye. Today, I join you all in a state of shock and grief, representing not just myself, but all the peoples of Malawi, at the passing of one of Africa's finest sons, because none of us saw it coming. This ability to let no one see his next move coming, which we find unsettling in death, is also what we find inspiring in life.
President Lazarus Chakwera was among 10 African leaders who attended Magufuli's memorial service in Tanzania. Among others, Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa, Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi, and Zambian President Edgar Lungu also attended the memorial service. Magufuli, aged 61, died last Wednesday after battling with heart problems. An additional batch of over 1.2 million dosages of COVID-19 AstraZeneca is expected to arrive in the country before the month end of May. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Charles Momsambo, has assured Malawians that the government will make sure that the vaccination remains an ongoing exercise to reach out to a total of 11 million people. Marius Kasanda has this report.
Mwansambo says the vaccine has a very short life. As such, the country cannot bring in big quantities at one time. That is why the ministry is getting it in batches to make sure that it is being used within its lifespan. He made the remarks at Capitol Hill on Monday on the sidelines of the launch of the vaccination exercise for the civil servants and retired civil servants, which was led by the Deputy Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Janet Banda. Mwansambo further disclosed that each dose of AstraZeneca costs about $7 and each person has to get 2 doses of the vaccine.
But this vaccine has got a very short half-life, so we cannot get big quantities at one time. That's why we're getting the batches and making sure that we use it and order before we run out. So we are actually okay for now. Through the COVAX facility, we are going to get enough doses for 3.8 million people. That's 7.6 million doses of the vaccine. So there's no fear that will run out, especially for those people that need it.
In her remarks, Banda urged all civil servants to get the vaccine jabs, further explaining that they should continue observing preventive measures even after vaccination.
Just to encourage them to come forward and get the job now that especially Capital Hill has opened up. The health workers, they'll be here for the whole week to give a chance to everybody to get the job. I want to encourage them not to listen to the social media WhatsApp messages that are going around scaring people about this job. I think everybody should have that responsibility to their fellow citizens to come forward and get the job.
Since the first case of COVID-19 was recorded in the country in April last year, over 33,230 cases have been registered, out of which over 1,090 have died.
At least 41 students risk losing their places at University of Malawi's College of Medicine as they cannot afford to pay tuition fees. The students are required to pay 6.2 million kwacha in annual fees after an agreement their initial university, Young, entered with the College of Medicine collapsed. Eric Msikiti has more in this report.
In July 2015, Young University signed a memorandum of understanding with the College of Medicine. The agreement would see students from Young utilizing College of Medicine academic resources, while their university would provide the required financial support. In the first place, most of the affected students opted for Young University due to the scholarships it offered. But 5 years down the line, the future of the students is now uncertain as DU is yet to meet its obligations. Merina Gamwendo is one of the affected students and says she cannot afford to pay the annual fee of 6.2 million kwacha as demanded by COM.
None of us can afford that fee because it's just so high. Some of us weren't even paying anything at Young because of the scholarships.
On 24 February 2021, the students, through their representative Jeremiah Dambuleni, wrote UNIMA Council asking it to allow them start paying 550,000 kwacha per year, just like fellow Malawian students.
We sent letters to these authorities because we know they have the capacity to subsidize the fees so that we can be paying as Malawian students.
But in response, the UNIMA Council declined the request, saying as private students, they still have to pay the required amounts to learn. COM Principal Macpherson Malewa confirmed the development, saying the college is just implementing the UNIMA Council's stand on the matter. Malewa, however, could not be drawn to comment on whether the college will reconsider its position, saying the matter is currently in court. But a representative of the students' parents, Lloyd Makangala, says the current fees remain too much.
We preferred our kids to go to Young because of the scholarship. And now to say that they have been adopted by College of Medicine, University of Malawi, and to be paying as international students. Honestly, I'm telling you, Mr. Egg, as parents, we cannot afford it. 3
out of a total of 44 of the affected students are foreign students and are complying with the demands.
Government has terminated the Rumpi-Nyeka-Ntalire Chitipa road contract with Motor Angel. Government went ahead with the decision despite spending over 1.7 billion kwacha on the project. Roads Authority Chief Executive Officer Engineer Emmanuel Matapa says the contract has been cancelled following disagreements. Matapa says the 260 kilometers road will be redesigned and that a contractor will be identified later. Feston Manekezo has the details.
Motor Angel was tasked to construct a 20-kilometer stretch with a contract sum of 5.1 billion kwacha, but between 2019 and now, the company only did 6 kilometers. The project commenced on August 24, 2018 and was supposed to be completed by March 2020.
The project went into some contractual disputes, so it has resulted into termination of that 20-kilometer contract. There were a number of issues, dread payment, rainfall, so we thought it's wise that amicably we resolve that, we close the contract. The money we use is budgeted money. We pay for the activities somebody has done. The contracts we go into what is called admeasurement contract. We only pay what has been executed so far. The rest of the money was budgeted money. It will be transferred to other activities within the road sector.
Motor Angel spokesperson Thomas Chafunya said the contract had indeed been terminated but declined to comment further, saying they do not discuss contractual issues with the client through the media. Meanwhile, the government has said the Rumpi-Nyika-Ntarire Road is one of the 15 strategic flagship projects that will be prioritized. Speaking on Saturday when Deputy Minister of Transport, Nancy Jawalandogo, toured the road, said Roads Authority has started working on new designs and that the money will be in form of a loan sourced locally as opposed to the previous arrangement where the Treasury funded the project. Ndoko said the Tonse Alliance-led administration is a listening government and will soon start the long-awaited construction to improve the road from the current earth status to bitumen. She said while waiting for the whole process to start, 1.2 billion kwacha has been set aside for the road maintenance.
Let me assure the people of Ntalile, Rumpi-Nyika that the Tonse Alliance government is a listening government. Very soon the project will start. I mean very soon. Maybe in 6 months' time. Yeah, for the main project. But for the grading and upgrading of the road, soon the funds are available.
The government has since engaged ZCCC and China Railway to work on areas that are in bad shape.
This is Times News and we'll be back after this break.
Foods with protein are good for us. A wonderful meal for the family. A little bit of onions, a little tomato. Mix it up and it's ready to eat. Top soy, for a healthy life. All you need is top soy. With the top taste, brighten your day with top soy, top soy, top soy.
Top soy soya pieces is a world-class Malawian top relish made with top quality, top taste and top value, and is perfect when served with rice, sima, spaghetti and so much more. Buy yours today in all wholesalers and retail shops across the country.
Top soy, truly a top relish.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate.
Brush up. 3, smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea.
Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smell about. If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Do your gums hurt?
Yeah.
Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Define your surroundings with the color of your choice. Make it warm, creative, friendly, and vibrant. Coat textures, durable color options, with up to 1,200 color shades to choose from. Be it economy range or premium range paints, innovative paint and color technology in every drop. Available in Blantyre, Build Africa, and Limby Corner Mart Building. And in Lilongwe, along M12 Road, close to Gateway Mall. Tropical Paints, your world in color.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Lands has revealed plans to institute a land-grabbing task force after noting numerous complaints from vulnerable citizens such as women and chiefs. The ministry's Deputy Minister Abida Mia made the revelation at Mpemba in Blantyre, where she was resolving land encroachment complaints from Staff Development Institute SDI. More in this report by Justin Mkweo.
Mia indicated that the ministry is saddened by the reports, which are many and need to be resolved urgently, hence putting the task force on the cards.
We are discussing that at the ministry of how we should enforce this task force to ensure that the land grabbing can be stopped. As you can see, it's going on around the country and people are taking advantage, especially of the chiefs and of widows and women that have land. So all these issues of land need to be taken very seriously.
During the meeting, which brought together officials from Lands Department, Malawi Housing Corporation, MHC, chiefs and citizens of Mpemba, the minister gave the Department of Lands and MHC to resolve their issues with SDI within 2 weeks. SDI Acting Director Peter Mutete was happy with the deliberations and expressed hope that they will have all their encroached land back.
It has been a fruitful meeting, taking into account that it gave room for stakeholders to present their side of the story. You remember, Staff Development Institute presented its documentation, so it was for them to respond. So it was amicable. They did that amicably. They presented their case. Where there are some gaps, it was noted, and they were not defending those gaps.
Land grabbing and encroachments have been rampant in the recent past, especially in urban and semi-urban areas.
Government has announced plans to reduce the gap between people that have access to clean and potable water and those that don't have. As Wezigosi reports from Lilongwe, 67 out of 100 households have access to potable water in Malawi.
Minister of Forest and Natural Resources, Nasetembo, said there is only a 33% gap if government is to achieve universal clean and safe water for all by the year 2030. The minister was speaking this on Monday during the commemorations of World Water Day in Lilongwe that falls on March 22 every year.
Every year, on the 22nd of March, Malawi joins the rest of the world in commemorating World Water Day. This auspicious occasion celebrates water and reminds us of the value of this precious resource. This means leaving no one behind on water services. It implies that potable water and proper sanitation should be accessible to even the most marginalized of people, be it the elderly, disabled, the poor, or those living in very challenging geographical settings.
Ministry's Director of Administration, Joseph Emagwira, said even though the country is approaching the target date for safe water for all, the country is still far from realizing it. He says the value of water is more vast and multidimensional and extend beyond any monetary and financial cost. This year's World Water Day is being celebrated under the theme Valuing Water.
The coming in of new technologies has changed how people transact various activities across the country and the rest of the world. Gone are days when one would struggle to communicate with people within and across our borders. In this report, Isaac Salima looks at how new technologies have impacted positively on some vulnerable communities.
Nowadays, one needs not to hustle to communicate with anyone, anywhere across the world, as with a simple post on the social media platforms, the message is put across. While others have found social media platforms as good grounds of spreading fake news and inciting those they have crossed paths with, some good citizens of the country are using social media platforms for good cause. People who have never met physically have formed WhatsApp groups to mobilize resources to assist those in need. Stella Kamwindo from Nangumi 1 in traditional authority Majinjiri in Ichigumula, Blantyre, was abandoned by her husband after giving birth to triplets. When her story was known on social media, people rushed to her with various support. Louis Nsomba from Chireka is physically challenged. He does not walk or sit, but is a gifted phone repair. When he posted on social media asking for well wishers to assist him with equipment required in his work, support poured in for him. Now his life is transformed. The COVID-19 pandemic has also shown us that we have people who care for each other. Muslim Youth United, an organization that is started through WhatsApp, recently raised about 34 million kwacha and purchased different items which they donated at Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital. These are small examples of people who have dedicated their lives on assisting others through social media platforms. Minister of Information Gospel Kazako said it is pleasing to note that digital development in the country has been of significance.
The digital development is very, very high on our agenda. It's a priority of this government, and we know the potential that the digital development has. You see, you can do business using digital means, you can study using digital means, you can make new friends using digital means, and recently we have seen that people are able to mobilize resources to assist others. We have seen some initiatives that have impacted very well on the pandemic.
Those who spend days and nights on social media platforms looking for who to insert or tarnish his or her image should take a look at how their friends are using same platforms to transform lives of those in need.
Malawi Red Cross Society on Monday trained the police in first aid services to prevent avoidable deaths. Police statistics show that last year alone, 1,221 people died in road accidents, although some deaths were avoidable. Wezi Gausi reports.
Red Cross Director of Programs Priska Chisala said they believe that first aid skills should be accessible to all police personnel as they are critical in saving lives. She said the police are crucial in handling sudden occurrences, hence the training.
We did provide training of basic first aid to police officers for the very same reason that police officers are among the key stakeholders that provide first aid services whenever there are situations that require first aid services. For example, when there are road accidents, during disasters, and maybe when there are conflict situations, the police will also come in to provide first aid services.
Deputy Inspector General of Police responsible for administration, Mary Nyotam, said the police officers lack first aid skills, although they are the first to arrive at accident scenes. Nyotam said that some lives have been lost in face of the police because of lack of first aid skills.
There have been fatalities on the roads, and the police officers have been the first responders to these accidents. When an accident happens, a police officer would rush to the scene. But in most cases, what we have seen, we have lost some lives because the police officers that responded quickly did not have skills to save the lives of the people at the accidents. So this course is very important because it is bridging this gap. When they get this knowledge, when they rush to the scenes, they are going to save lives of people that have been involved in an accident.
The Global Status Report on Safety by World Health Organization shows that 1.2 million people die every year due to road accidents worldwide.
And that's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines once again. President Lazarus Chakwera says the legacy of the late president of Tanzania, John Magufuli, will live on across Africa. An additional batch of over 1.2 million dosages of COVID-19 AstraZeneca is expected to arrive in the country by end of May. And at least 41 students risk losing their places at University of Malawi's College of Medicine as they cannot afford to pay tuition fees. You've been with me, Chisomo Chihana. You can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe.
Good evening, it's time for the weather report. You're with me, Gary Samati. Expect rains with thunderstorms over most areas. This is due to the influence of an intertropical convergence zone. In Shire Valley, expect partly cloudy conditions tonight and in the morning. In the afternoon, expect cloudy conditions with thunder showers. In Southern Highlands, expect localized rain and thunderstorms tonight and in the morning. Cloudy conditions with scattered rain and thunderstorms in the afternoon. In central areas, expect partly cloudy conditions with localized rain and thunderstorms tonight and in the morning. Hot weather conditions with rain and thunderstorms over most areas in the afternoon. In lakeshore areas, expect partly cloudy conditions with scattered rain and thunderstorms tonight and in the morning. Cloudy conditions with thunderstorms in the afternoon. And in northern areas, expect mild and cloudy conditions with rain and thunderstorms tonight and in the morning. Cloudy conditions with scattered rain and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Focus temperatures. Ngabu, a minimum of 25 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius. Blantyre, a minimum of 18 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius. Lilongwe, a minimum of 18 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius. Mangochi, a minimum of 23 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius. And in Zuzu, a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius. Wind will generally be variable but gusty and strong in stormy areas. And on Wednesday, expect rain over most areas. Let's now conclude with the times for sunrise and sunset for tomorrow, 23 March 2021. In Zuzu, the sun will rise at 12 minutes to 6 and will set at 3 minutes to 6. In Nilongwe, the sun will rise at 11 minutes to 6 and will set at a minute to 6. And in Blantyre, the sun will rise at 18 minutes to 6 and will set at 4 minutes to 6. That's the weather forecast. I am Gary Samati. Have a lovely evening.